The movie opens with Steve, a man recounting his story. As a child growing up in the 80s, Steve longed to explore the mines, but children were strictly banned from entering. As an adult, he left his dead-end job behind to finally pursue his dream. Upon entering the mines, he discovers the Orb of Dominance. By combining it with another object, Steve gains access to the overworld, a vibrant realm where he builds a home using gathered materials. There, he meets a fierce wolf named Dennis, who becomes his loyal companion. With Dennis by his side, Steve gains confidence, and together they create incredible structures. Life in the overworld seems perfect, until Steve stumbles upon ancient ruins. After completing the structure, he accidentally opens a portal to a dangerous dimension, the Nether. Unlike the overworld, the Nether is bleak and joyless, ruled by the cruel Pilglins and their leader, Malevolent, a failed performer turned evil after her dreams were crushed by her father and fellow Pilglins. She steals the orb from Steve to cast eternal darkness over the overworld, since Pilglins cannot survive in the light. Steve manages to steal the orb back, but during his escape, he is captured. He sends Dennis to flee to the real world with the orb and a crystal, ensuring they stay hidden from the Pilglins. In the present day, we meet Garrett, a former video game champion turned nostalgic store owner. Though stuck in the past and facing eviction, he attends a storage auction hoping to find a valuable Atari Cosmos. Instead, he finds the mysterious orb and crystal, triggering a public meltdown. Meanwhile, Natalie and her younger brother Henry move to a small town called Chew Glass after their mother's passing. Henry, skeptical about the town due to its bad online reputation, is unhappy, but Natalie assures him it's affordable. Natalie lands a job running social media for a local potato chip factory, while Henry rides his bike to school, stopping by Garrett's store. He's fascinated by the glowing crystal, and Garrett tells him he's offering mentorship for $50 an hour. When Henry asks if people actually win at life, Garrett replies that it's the kind of answer he charges for. On his first day at school, Henry is awkwardly welcomed as the first new student since a bad article about the school rankings. During art class, he draws a banana with a rocket, prompting mockery from two bullies. Henry boldly claims he's a rocket scientist and vows to prove it. The next day, while demonstrating his jetpack, the bullies sabotage it. The malfunctioning jetpack crashes into Natalie's workplace, possibly costing her job. Henry is called to the principal's office and asked to bring a guardian. Desperate, he calls Garrett to pretend to be his uncle in exchange for $26. At the store, Henry questions why his invention failed and is filled with guilt. He notices the orb and crystal and becomes curious. Garrett finds a manual warning never to combine the two for selfish reasons. Ignoring the warning, Henry merges them, and they're both pulled into the mines. Back in the real world, Natalie panics over Henry's disappearance and contacts Dawn, their real estate agent who also runs a mobile petting zoo. Together, they track Henry and Garrett to the mines, just as the overworld portal opens and pulls everyone in. Dennis watches from afar. Inside the overworld, Steve seizes the chance to escape the Nether. As the group marvels at the beauty of this new world, night falls and monsters attack. Henry quickly learns to build and constructs a fortress. Steve arrives to help fend off the creatures. However, Garrett accidentally destroys the Earth Crystal, their only way back. With no way home, Steve says their only hope is to find a replacement crystal in the perilous woodland mansion. They set off on a journey through the overworld. In a village, Steve shows them how easily things can be built and how the world thrives on creativity. Suddenly, the Pilglins, led by General Chungus, attack. During the chaos, the group is split. Steve, Garrett, and Henry escape, while Natalie and Dawn team up, eventually finding Dennis to guide them back. Chungus is executed by Malevolent for failing, so she unleashes her terrifying creation, the Great Hog. Meanwhile, Steve brings Garrett and Henry to the diamond mines. Garrett's greed is exposed, upsetting Henry. The Great Hog finds them, but they escape using a minecart and a few explosive creepers. The hog is destroyed in the explosion. Back in the real world, a villager named Nitwit stumbles through the portal and is hit by a car. The driver, Marlene, feels guilty and invites him to dinner, finding his odd behavior endearing. The heroes arrive at the woodland mansion. Steve and Garrett create a distraction with a song, while Henry searches for the new Earth Crystal. He encounters an Enderman, who uses illusions of his friends insulting him to discourage him. Henry overcomes the fear, defeats the Enderman, and earns an Ender Pearl, capable of teleportation. As they try to leave, Malevolent and the Pilglins ambush them. She reclaims the orb while the others fight. Steve and Henry escape in a hot air balloon. Garrett sacrifices himself by staying behind and is presumed dead in a TNT explosion. Steve and Henry crash and lose consciousness, only to be rescued by Natalie, Dawn, and Dennis. With the orb back in Malevolent's hands, she casts darkness across the overworld. Determined to stop her, the group leads an army of iron golems into battle. Henry climbs her tower to retrieve the orb but is knocked down, saved just in time by Garrett, who survived and returns in a hot air balloon. Together, the group destroys the tower, recovers the orb, and defeats Malgotia, whose final attempts to attack are futile. The portal home is restored. Steve plans to stay in the overworld, feeling the real world has nothing left for him, but Natalie encourages him to consider what he can give back. Steve decides to return with them. In the closing montage, Steve narrates how everyone's lives have changed. Garrett revitalizes his store and creates a hit arcade game. Dawn turns overworld creatures into stars of her petting zoo. Natalie starts a self-defense class for kids. And Henry, now popular, rebuilds his jetpack. The group celebrates with a party at Garrett's store. Thank you for watching. If you love movies, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more. Bye.